بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Respected brothers and sisters, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the opportunity to start our day with the masjid. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all the khair of this day. We ask Allah azza wa jal to protect us from all types of evil. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. As we continue with our journey in the book of Al-Isti'dad Liyawm al-Ma'ad, preparation for the life of your after, it has been mentioned that there was, in Bani Israel, there was an individual who acquired a lot of knowledge. And in acquiring a lot of knowledge, he invested a lot of his time, effort, and money. And he gathered many great writings and packs of writings, boxes of writings. So he happened to meet one of the prophets from the Bani Israel. This is after Prophet Musa alayhi salam and before Prophet Isa alayhi salam. So there were many anbiya that were sent to Bani Israel, every nation. وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ, as Allah mentions that every nation, every community had a prophet. So if there will be many different communities, every different community had different prophets. So this individual, after gathering so much knowledge, he happened to meet this prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this prophet of Allah asked him that, what is all of this that you're carrying with you? He said, this is the knowledge that I have gathered for many, many years of my life. So this Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed him and he said to him, you have not acquired a single word of ilm unless and until you don't acquire three things in your life. And if you have gathered these three things in your life, that فَإِنَّكَ جَمَعْتَ عِلْمُ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ, that indeed after that you have gathered the knowledge of those who came in the past and those who will come in the future. So if you have got these three things and you're able to practice on these three things, then you have gathered the knowledge of the past as well as the knowledge of the future. So this individual asked the Prophet, he said, what are these three things? Can you describe to me? So he said, the first one, لا تحب الدنيا فليست بدار المؤمنين. Do not attach your love with this world because this is not the place for a believer. You know, when we start to gain things in our life, we start having personal attachment to people as well as to things. And then, if something does happen in our life, we become very sad and our heart is broken and people go into depression. And the cause of this depression is because of their attachment. They have so much attachment to the things of this world that a person completely becomes oblivious of the akhirah, that one day he has to go there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made this world for people to live in. As Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah mentions, فَإِنْ كَانَتِ الدُّنْيَا تَخْلُدُ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ, if the world was to give eternity to anyone, then that would be the only one individual deserving this, and that is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But Allah azza wa jal is telling His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتُونَ ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عِنْدَ رَبِّكُمْ تَخْتَصِمُونَ. That, O Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you're going to pass away and everyone else is going to pass away from this world. So do not have too much attachment to the things of this world. Do not love them with a passion. Why? Because this is not a place for a believer. The house of a believer is what? Is the hereafter. وَإِنَّ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ. Allah says, indeed, akhirah is the real life. تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. Allah says that life of hereafter, the house of hereafter is made for those people who are not looking for positions in this world, nor they're trying to create any chaos. And the best of results are for those who adopt taqwa in their life. So the first ilm that he gave, لا تحب الدنيا فليست بدار المؤمنين. Number 2, لا تصاحب الشيطان فليس برفيق المؤمنين. Do not accompany shaitan in your life because he can never be your friend. He can never be your companion. He will say that he's your companion, he's your helper, he's your assistant, but he can never be an assistant and helper for a believer. He's only a deceiver. And he creates an illusion that he is giving the best of advice to you. He's telling you the best of things to do. But in reality, that best of his is the worst for you in the life of your after. So that's why this is the only enemy that a believer has. There is no other enemy. We only have one enemy, and all of us have one common enemy, and that is shaitan. Unfortunately, we lack to understand, and then we start to have enmity against individuals, aiding and helping shaitan in getting his task done. So immediately, whenever shaitan puts a thought in your mind that this individual is like this, or this person, or this brother, or this sister, they're like this, think about it that this is shaitan who wants to ruin your akhirah. He has come to ruin your akhirah. So the best thing is to avoid these thoughts from your mind. And as the scholars mention, that whenever these type of thoughts come into your mind against an individual, you go above and beyond and try to facilitate the best for that individual, and that thought will never come in your mind. Imagine if shaitan tells you to do something bad to an individual because of something that you've heard that he has said about you, and then you go and you give him something as a gift, or you make dua for him. Next time, shaitan will never give you this advice. Because he knows that the minute he puts a thought in your mind that is evil, you immediately react to it in a good way, and then you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he doesn't want you to do that. So that's why we always encounter this with the best action that we have. And number 3, he mentions لا تؤذي أحدا فليس بحرفة المؤمنين. Do not give harm to anyone. Do not cause harm, either by your physical body, by your hands, by your feet, by your tongue. Don't cause harm to anyone. Why? Because that's not the occupation of a believer. Hirfa is something that you have earned in your life. It's your talent. The talent of a believer, the actual work of a believer, is not to harm anyone. If you're harming, then you're not a believer. If you are thinking bad about an individual, you want to harm that individual, then you are not you're not one of the believers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about. So these are the 3 things, if a person is able to practice them in their life, لَقَدْ جَمَعْتَ عِلْمَ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ. You've gathered the knowledge of the people of the past as well as for the people of the future. And they are very hard to do, except that Allah makes it easy. So that's why we should make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah Azza wa Jal grant us the ability to do that. Allah assist us and help us, protect us from the deception of shaitan and the deception of our own nafs. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are benefiting other individuals. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحان الله وبحمده. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.